Our second new Wetlands Pack dinosaur for Jurassic World Evolution 3, and it is an absolute stunner chock-a-block with some of the coolest new animations in a long time. Let's check it out. So, Austroraptor, or Unenlargine, is that how you do it? God knows. Theropod from the late Cretaceous of Argentina makes its appearance. The Unenlargine, are a group of long-snouted theropods, and Austroraptor here is the largest of the bunch at up to 20 feet in length, which is kind of madness. That's like twice as tall as me. Unsurprisingly, for a new feathered dinosaur, Frontier have done a pretty great job bringing this thing to life. From the separated movement of the wing feathers to the male's head crest and neck ruffle, from the glorious swooping tail fan to those piercing, perfectly circular pupils. It's an Austroraptor. I'm not necessarily a massive fan of the pattern, which feels a tiny bit uninspired this time around, but honestly not every dinosaur can have or even should have really elaborate patterning, and the varied colours we see throughout the video do a lot of good for the Austro. I feel like they've chosen bad colours if I'm totally honest. Before we shuffle on, I also want to point out this little cooing noise it makes early doors. It's a really interesting shift. It goes from these throaty growls to this almost calming or even curious, content sort of noise. It's basically a straight up 20-foot pigeon. I mentioned at the outset that this thing has some cool new animations though, and yeah, the animators have really brought their A game with this one. The juvenile to adult animation is okay, with some practice wing flapping going on, but then the feeding animations in particular are a lot of fun. First of all, the shared animation with two Austros tangling over a single fish, but the singular feeding animation is one of my favourites in the entire game. It's even cooler with the fish flapping its way to freedom before the Austro plunges back into the water to snap it back up again. Austroraptor and dinosaurs like it were primarily piscivorous, we believe. Their teeth are very similar in style to, say, the Spinosaurids and some other piscivore groups, so it seems like a fair bet. That said, Austroraptor was also very strong, very quick, and an adept long-range pursuit predator. Even better as a long-range pursuit predator than the likes of Deinonychus, so it'd be really cool to see that resembled somehow in maybe the human hunt animation. I would have it circling it over and over again, like tiring the human out. Anyway, more cool animations. The leaping out of the hatchery, sight unseen beforehand, is pretty cool and leans, I've said cool too many times, leans into that predatorial nature I was just talking about. This thing was capable of killing large, substantial prey. It also follows up with these side-to-side head movements, which you're going to see repeatedly throughout the video. It's on the lookout for prey, for predators, for love. Finally, in the cool animation stakes, we have the social animation. Side note, these videos, this is a whole new style for Frontier, and they've made my spotlight videos utterly bloody pointless. I digress. I love that despite the fairly hungry, aggressive nature of what we've seen so far, the adult social animation is friendly and cordial and lovely, with two Austros sat beside each other, one preening the other, and nobody snapping angrily at the other at the end for once. They even, once again, make that adorable cooing noise. Speaking of adorable, babies. Anyway, in terms of sexual dimorphism, it is much as I mentioned, a head crest and chest fluff on the male that's not there on the female, and she also has a smaller tail fan. Now, I don't know if it's the specific colour scheme, but I think for once, and this is quite rare, I actually prefer the female design. She's got that sleek, nimble look that I really typically associate with Austroraptor, and that's probably bias on my part from various, dinosaur documentaries, etc. But it's rare for me to prefer the female designs because they tend to be a little bit less elaborate, so I'm glad it's turned out so well. Of course, the Wetlands Pack brings more than dinosaurs. There's some great scenery items in this video as well. Much of what we've seen before, but what we hadn't seen before was this! It's a map! It's a park map, I swear to God, it's a park map. I hope, and I will admit somewhat egotistically, this is at least in part to me complaining about not being able to make a park map in like one of my very first Elderwood videos. Either way, it looks great, a little island with various markings, doesn't matter if it matches our maps, it's about the aesthetic. And even strung up in this classic national park-esque map holder. My day is made, I'm going to put 100 of them in my park. There's also a much better glimpse at this upturned boat and wooden crate, as well as what looks like a sunken boat to me in this shot, and also a tombola raffle thing? I don't think so. I know I've seen these before, but I cannot for the life of me remember what the heck they are called. Somebody help me. It remains a very cool scenery set, over 100 new pieces by the by. Perfect for building dilapidated and swampy environs. That's right, environs. Anyway, that's it from me. Sorry if a little haphazard today. I have quite literally today moved house. Tonight is my first night in my brand new place. Actually, as of right now, I don't even have internet. I'm getting it tomorrow. So God knows how you're going to see this video. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to figure it out. And that's also, by the way, why Elderwood has had a mini hiatus, but hopefully we'll be back soon. It's just a billion things going on. Let me know what you think of Austroraptor down below, and I will see you lovely folks very, very soon for another new dinosaur. Wink wonk. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Road.